some families raise you. Mine put me on display as a warning. I wasn't their daughter. I was their cautionary tale. I'll never forget the sound of my father's voice that night. Sharp, cold, cutting through the clatter of silverware. Your sister is proof that discipline works, he said. And you? You're why we pray at night. The table went silent. 20 pairs of eyes burned into me like spotlights. I wanted to disappear under the weight of their stares. Hi. My name is Lena, I'm 24, and for most of my life I'd been the family embarrassment. I work as a graphic designer, my dream job, but in their eyes, it was just playing on a computer. My older sister, Claire, was the golden child. Perfect grades, perfect job, perfect life. Or at least that's what they wanted everyone to believe. Growing up, every family gathering turned into a competition I didn't sign up for. Claire's achievements were paraded like trophies. Mine? Shrunk down until they barely existed. What they didn't know, what none of them knew, was that I was keeping a secret. A big one. The worst night came at my cousin's engagement dinner. My dad stood up to make a toast. 5 full minutes praising Claire, her new house, her promotions, her future. Then he got to me. Lena? Well, she's still finding herself. Laughter rippled around the table. Not cruel, but pitying. The kind of laugh that says we knew she'd end up like this. I excused myself, but in the hallway, I heard them talking. My aunts. Poor Lena, one said. Still asking her parents for help, I bet. I froze. I hadn't borrowed money in over 2 years. That's when it hit me. My parents had been telling everyone I was struggling, using me as the family's failure story to make Claire look even shinier. The next week, they invited only Claire to their anniversary dinner. When I asked why I wasn't invited, my mom's voice was sugar-coated poison. Honey, that restaurant is not really your style. It's for people who appreciate fine dining. My chest burned. What did that even mean? That I didn't deserve a nice meal because I wasn't as successful, and then came the moment that broke me. At my grandmother's birthday, my father announced Claire would now be handling Grandma's finances. She's responsible. Not everyone is cut out for that kind of responsibility, he said, looking right at me. I'd been the one driving Grandma to appointments, helping her with online bills. None of that mattered. The final betrayal came from Claire herself. One night, she called me crying, terrified about a big work presentation. I spent 3 hours coaching her, building her confidence. The next day, she told our parents I'd been negative and complaining about my life. Something inside me snapped that night. I started writing everything down. Every insult. Every lie. Every time I was excluded, I wasn't going to fight for their approval anymore. I was going to show them who I really was. Here's what they didn't know. For 2 years, I'd been running a freelance business after hours. My so-called figuring things out phase? It had made me $15,000 and 3 steady monthly clients. I'd already given notice to my landlord. I'd signed the lease for my first solo apartment. The perfect moment came at Claire's housewarming party. The entire family gathered, just like always. My father raised his glass to Claire, who proves that hard work pays off, unlike some people who just drift through life. That was it. I stood up, my hands shaking but steady enough to pull out my phone. This morning, I got paid $3,000 by one of my clients. That's just one of 3 monthly retainers I manage. I've built my own business. I move into my new apartment next week. And for the record, I haven't asked you for a dime in over 2 years. The room froze. My father's face drained of color. Then I turned to Claire. And since we're talking about responsibility, maybe you should tell them about the 3 maxed out credit cards and late payment fees I saw on your banking app. Her smile collapsed. Lena, please don't. I didn't have to say another word. My grandmother stood up. This ends now, she said. Your grandfather would be ashamed of how you've treated her. Lena deserves respect. For the first time in years, my father had no words. I set my keys on the table. I'm done being your family disappointment. I'm not your failure anymore. I'm free. And I walked out. I moved into my new apartment, grew my business to 6 figures, and built a life that didn't need their approval to feel valid. Some relatives eventually apologized. My parents? They stayed silent. And you know what? Their silence doesn't hurt anymore. It feels like freedom. If you've ever been the family disappointment who turned out to be the success story, drop your story below. I read every comment. Your pain matters, and your comeback might be the spark someone else needs to change their life.